I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to the eBudde training. It's for where we're at now for all our girls. And I'm Marianne Deard with Girl Scouts of Colorado. I'm the Senior Product Program Specialist. I cover the entire Western Slope and the mountain communities and down into Durango and Cortez. And on the line, we have Laura, and she is also with the product program team. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Just one quick question. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so we are in eBudde, and we're probably a mixture of volunteers. Some are new, some are experienced. And I have chose a troop that we can look at and talk about several different things. We're going to talk about allocating cookies to our girls. We're going to talk about the cookie exchange, placing cupboard orders, placing troop-to-troop transfers, my booth sale sites and how you get them approved, and how to distribute cookies that you sold at a booth. We'll also talk a little bit about the DOC and how to distribute that if it's a booth sale. So on your dashboard, it lists all the booths you are signed up for. New this year, you can actually release a booth right here from your dashboard. So on your calendar, this one has February 8th. There's a booth sale at Walmart at 12 p.m. If this volunteer couldn't get girls to go, she would come up here and she would release it. And when we get into the booth sign up, we'll talk about how you get onto the waiting list if you would like to do that. So we'll move on to our girl orders and where you allocate cookies. This volunteer has allocated cookies to the girls. All of these allocated cookies deal with the receipts that the parents signed. She is also allocating the payments that the parents turn into her so she can keep a running total of what the girl still owes in the family. So if we turn and we look at Avery, we click on Avery's name and it opens up her database. And in her database, it shows the cookies she picked up on 2/4, and it's 286 packages. She made a payment also on 2/4 of $20. So this volunteer has all that information in there. It's a running Excel form. It's really easy for them to keep. If they were going to add another transaction, you would click on Add a Transaction. It opens the boxes at the bottom. So we always suggest that you use the comment box. So on this, it could be 2/6, returned some cookies. I'll work on the spelling in a while. Okay. There we go. That's what I missed. And so if someone is returning cookies to you, it's going to be a negative number. So say Avery brought back 5 packages. So what you do is a -5 in there. And if she brought back 10 packages of this flavor, which is Samoa's. Oops. And then after you have what you want, you click on the OK. Now this isn't completing your step. You have to click the save. So you would click the save. It keeps that in this system. And then you can move on to the next girl right from the summary. So we're going to go back to Avery and we're going to say, oh, I made a mistake. This was not what she gave me. We'll open up that line again to her receipt book. And this time I'm just going to take the information out because Avery hasn't returned cookies yet. So I'll go in there and make it a 0. And then I'll click OK, and I'll click Save. Now the system will keep that line in there. So if you had to 0 out a line, you could still use this line again and add the new information if you needed to. If Avery was taking cookies out, you would click on the line that was open or add a transaction. you can put in the date, took cookies, you could add how many packages that she took. So say 10 there, 20 there, 40 there. And then when you go over and click OK, it's going to tell you how much money those cookies are. Then again, you are going to click that save. So we're going to open this again just so I remember to zero it out, because this is a live troop that we're looking at. Say Avery made a payment and that's all she's doing. Instead of having to add a transaction, you would add a payment. You can put the date, maybe mom and dad are divorced. So it could be mom and the date. And then you would put in the amount. You would click OK, and you would click Save. And what that does, it adds the amount that she paid. See if it'll let me do this. Okay, so since I did this, I have to put a number in there. So I will just put 0 in there and I'll click Save. Are there any questions about allocating cookies out to the girls from their receipts or payments? Okay, so we'll go on from there. We'll just move right down the line. So we'll go to the transactions. And this is for the troop. This troop already has an order into the cupboard. We'll go ahead and place another one that we'll delete in a little while. So it's going to, this volunteer is going to go to the cupboard. Of course, it has to be 72 hours out. You open up the transaction. You pick what cupboard it is you're going to go to. And she will go to the Mesa County cupboard because that's where she lives. It gives the hours and the dates that the cupboard is open. Some of our cupboards give you a note section that says to text me or contact me to set up a pickup time. Some of those are storage units and they don't sit out there, but they want to meet you at a convenient time. We have the rule where it has to be 72 hours out. So for this troop to place an order now, they're going to have to place that order for the 11th. And they're not going to go at midnight. So let's say the cupboard opens at 10. So we'll put 11 a.m. You've got the time, you've got the receipt number. And then you can go in here and you can either buy packages or cases or both. You can order what you'd want. So say she needs 5 more cases of Lemon Ups and 20 cases of Thin Mints and 2 cases of toffee. So that's 27 cases. And if you noticed, your information will show up in the contact. This way the cupboard can get a hold of you very easily. And you're going to say, okay, but you're still not done. You have to hit that second save. Once you have hit the save, you cannot change your order. Okay, so she has an order placed in here. And she'll go to the cupboard, she'll pick up that order on the 11th at 11 a.m. and the cupboard will take it off pending because all your orders go in as pending. And once you picked up your cookies, whether you sign a receipt or whether you use the phone, and most of our cupboards are using our cookie cupboard app. So you will be signing on a phone or a tablet that you got confirmed your order and you picked up what it says. So for any of your troops, for anyone to pick up cookies for your troop, they have to be added to eBudde, and I will show you where that has to be added and how you do that in just a couple of minutes here. So her transactions in here, she's to that. Okay, so now she wants to pick a booth for either one of her girls and their parent or for the troop. Well, this volunteer is going to pick a booth in Grand Junction. Okay, so you're going to open up the city you want, And the green means there's still openings. The blue means that is full. So we're going to look at the City Market on 32 Road. We're going to look at Saturday the 15th and what times they have open. This troop already has 2 slots on this Saturday. If they wanted and had girls that would want to work from 7 to 9 p.m., they could do that. This troop's now decided maybe that's not the best choice for us this time. So we're going to go down and look at the 22nd and see what's left there. Still the 7 to 9. The 23rd, we've got, I'm just writing down. So we have City Market. Well, her one young lady wants to do a booth there that day. So she's going to take, that's 6 o'clock. So you click in the box, it puts in your troop number, and you click submit. And it is now placed. If you go back to your dashboard, and on your calendar, if you click view full calendar, it will list all your booths. So that one was on the 23rd. And it was City Market at 6 p.m. So she is here on the 23rd, City Market at 6 p.m. And Sarah's mom calls and says, we can't make it because Sarah has the flu and there aren't any other girls available. From your calendar here, you can click on release, click OK, and I can't read it. eBudde is going to say, once you cancel it, it's gone. I like that idea. I don't want it. I'm going to say OK. And it now has been canceled. And if someone was on the waiting list, they would be able to pick up that booth. If you ever need to see who is available on your troop to do anything, you can look at your contacts and make sure all the information is correct. This troop only has 1 volunteer that is in and able to pick up cookies. If you wanted to add another volunteer that could pick up cookies, you'll go to the Settings tab, Edit Settings. You're going to scroll down the page, and all this volunteer is going to be able to do is pick up cookies for you. So you would put in their email address. Let me, and then you would put in their name. Okay, and once that's done, you're going to go down and update it. So when you go to that contacts page now, it's going to show you have a troop cookie pickup only user. And that's the only thing they can do. They can only sign for the cookies they're picking up. They cannot go see eBudde or travel through it or anything on that for you. Last year, we had a new avenue to help facilitate troop-to-troop cookie exchanges. It's the cookie exchange. So you open up the cookie exchange, and say your troop has 25 packages of tag-alongs that you're afraid you can't get rid of. You're going to put this in by packages, and you're going to update the package. It's going to show that you have those packages, and it will show up. But you're looking for some lemon ups. So what you can do is do the drop down. Nobody has it right now, so you know you need to go to the cupboard to get those. Let's see. You need some Samoas. So in the system, it shows troop numbers. So remember that first number is the area where you live. The 6 is the Denver area. The 4 is the Colorado Springs area. And 1 is Western Slope. 2 is Durango, Cortez. 3 is Pueblo area. 4 is Colorado Springs. 5 is the mountain communities. 6 is Denver, and 7 is the Northeast Colorado, Fort Collins, on all of that area. So you see on here that Dorla has 6 packages. Well, you need more than that. But then Lena has 5 cases. She lives close to you, so maybe you're going to email Lena and do a troop-to-troop transfer. If you do a troop-to-troop transfer, the troop that puts it into the system will be the troop that accepts the cookies. And then the troop that gave the cookies will go into their transaction page and make sure that the information is there and it's all correct. Okay. So also with our booth sale, we have what we call My Sales. That is where you can set up either troop booths at non-council businesses, or you could set up a My Sale for a girl in our family, to a parent to run. So what you're going to do is click on the drop down, click My Sales. Is my screen still not changing?
It's changing.
Okay, good. Someone had said it wasn't, so I thought I better find out. Okay. So I'll show you how to accept the cookies and how to do the transaction in just a minute. So this is to do a My Sale. We're going to click on Add a Location. They need to know the business name. I'm going to do when I know the address. Okay. They're going to need to know the address. Okay, if there is a store number or something like that, you would put in there. They're going to need the city. Okay, who did they contact that said it was okay? Okay. The date, so this one's going to be the 12th. It's going to start at 4 p.m. Okay, and it's going to go to 6 p.m. Done. And then you're going to click Add. And then either a service unit cookie manager or one of our product program specialists will approve these booths. If they deny the booth, so when you open this up, it shows you reason for approval or reason or denial. So say there's another troop here that day already. I would come in and on my end, type in there denied, and I would say that it was denied because there was another troop there. Okay. Any questions on adding a My Sale? Okay. If you can't make this My Sale, say you set it up for a parent, their daughter's sick again, none of the other parents are able to do it, you're going to click back into this, open up the board, and you're going to click delete. It will say, ask you the question, you're going to delete it, it will go away. That way people won't be looking for it. Okay. So,
Attention, people.
now what? The people I was talking about is they use the cookie locator and they find out where the booth sales are, and they can find your troop or the closest booth sale to them to buy their cookies. So now we're going to add a troop to troop transfer. This troop took in cookies from another troop. So I'm going to add a transaction, and instead of being covered, we're going to make it a troop. Okay, let's see. So you put the troop number in there. And all you can do is add product to your troop. So this troop took in 10 cases of tagalongs. Okay, wait a minute. From troop 12214, it's going to say okay. It's going to show. Now to finish this, you have to say add a transaction. I am not going to, I'm not add a transaction, but save. I'm not going to save this one because I put in a different troops number. So I made a mistake. It's not the troop I wanted. It's not the correct number of cases, anything like that. For me, I'm going to delete this order, but if say you put the wrong number of packages or cases in here, you can go in and change it. As long as you made the transaction, you can fix the transaction. Okay. Questions on troop to troop transfers?
Marianne, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Someone in the chat log had a question, and she was asking about if you were talking about the changing of the My Sales, and I believe that's the question. Is it for a personal boost and not girl boost, like individual girls or troops? And so ideally both. A My Sale can be for troops to attend, or if an individual girl sets it up too, the troop TCM still needs to put it in for the girls since parents don't have access to do that. But the My Sale can be for either one. And I hope that answers it. You can elaborate, Marianne, if you probably put better words to it than me.
No, that is totally correct. And the other is, say it's a council booth and you have a young lady, okay, just a second here. I have to save. I didn't do anything, but it wouldn't let me go on. So this troop, I know they have parents that take council booths. So here they pick different booths, and let's take the 32 road one. So on this troop probably has booths set up in a few other places. There's 6 girls, they're going on a large trip this summer, so they're all working really hard to make the funds to finish to pay for their trip. So I know for a fact that these city market ones, at least some of them are a girl and her mother that wants to go and sell their cookies. So when it's a girl and a parent, they can go to these booth sales that you set up for them, whether they're a My Sale or whether they're a council booth site, and they take their own cookies and they can sell them, or they check out cookies under their daughter's name. They go and hold the booth, they sell the cookies, and then for several troops, they can go back and check in what didn't sell and turn in the money. So this could be, the whole troop could be there where they have 2 to 3 girls and 2 volunteers, or it could be a mother, daughter, father, daughter, grandma, daughter, whatever there. Questions on that?
That was a great explanation. Thank you, Marianne.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, so my question is, when they go and do a troop booth that we've signed up for, do the girls get credit for the cookies they sell to go towards like
Yes.
their?
Yeah,
and
we're
you
going
just-
to go there, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. So on the booth site tab, you're going to hit the drop down again to divide out your booth sales. You can do record my sales. It's going to open it up. These are booth sales that the girls have set up. That one was the second. So we're going to open this because I got permission to play with it, and then we'll go in and my daughter and I will go in and fix it later. So we're going to open this up. She had, I'm going to deselect everybody. She had Hazel there. She had Kylie there. She had Anne-Marie there. And Mackenzie was there. And I stopped by. Those were the girls that were there. We're just going to guess at the cookies they sold. So let's say 24 packages of Lemon Ups, 13 packages of trefoils, 36 packages of do-si-dos, 60 packages of Samoas, 45 packages of tagalongs, 120 packages of mints, 15 s'mores, 2 toffee. Okay. Some of these may have been done on the DOC app, which one of the adults there had their daughter there. This troop leader doesn't have a daughter in the troop, so she does not have the avenue to use the DOC app, so it's one of the other parents. So they have those sales on their app. And I'll show you what you need to do on the girls tab to make it all work well for you when you get there. They also had 3 gift of caring, which are the virtual cookies that will be donated, and they had 10 hometown heroes. So we've added in, it's telling you how much money you should have received, how many packages were sold. You've got the girls clicked. You can click distribute, and it will distribute the cookies as evenly as it can. So that is all in there for you. And then you can submit the sale. Another way to do this, if you wanted to, say you're at a booth all day and you have figured out how many cookies were sold in that day, how many girls were there, how many were there 2 hours, 1 hour, maybe your daughter was there the whole 6 hours. You divided up the cookies, figured out how much each girl made per hour she worked. You could go in here instead of filling it in at the top. Okay, you could come down here to each individual girl and fill in what she did. You can put in a GOC, gift of caring, HTH, anything like that, and do that for all the girls. And then instead of distribute, you would click on the submit sale. Questions on this piece? Okay, so I'm just going to change tabs real quick. So it's going to tell me about saving it, and I don't want to save it. Okay, on the girls order tab. So let me see if I have a young lady that has some DOC. We do. With the DOC, these are all cookies in hand. This was taken on the phone app. Very easily could have been at the booth sale. So this troop's going to divide up all their cookies to the girls that were at that booth sale. They just haven't done it yet. And so $12 was paid on the DOC app. What you want to do, since you're distributing the cookies and the money through the booth sale recorder page, you're going to come in here, you're going to add a transaction or a payment. It could be a payment. You're going to DOC booth sale, something like that, so that you know, and you're going to minus the $12 because it's going to be added back in when you distribute the cookies. And then you can click save, and it's going to take that money away from her, but when you distribute the cookies, it will add part of that money back to her and also the other girls. In just a second, so I can delete this because they'll all be confused on this one.
While you're taking a second to delete it, Marianne, we had a great question in the chat box, and she was just asking for you to go over real quick again how to enter in a my sale. They got approved to be in the church on Sunday, which is a great location.
You can do that. That works.
Many of us are hungry. Yeah, thank you, Marianne.
Okay, thank you. So it's a my sale. Again, the council drop down, click my sale. You're going to see the blue add a location. You're going to click on that. And you need to give whoever's going to approve these 24 to 48 hours. So if it's this weekend, I would say get it in tonight or get it in tomorrow so they have time to see it and to check and make sure there's no one else there and get it approved for you. So again, we're just going to grab something out of here that's already in here. So this is Fort Lewis College. I've got the address, I've got the city, the state, and the zip code. You need all of that for it to be approved. Phone number of who I talked to. So I'm going to put the name. I'm just going to say Margie, and then I'll put in her email in there. Start date, so say it's Saturday. So I'll put that in there.
Just do this.
You know what? And then I'll put in, say we're starting at 12 noon and we're going till 6 p.m. tonight or that night. And then I will click add. And it tells you it's added. It shows it over here. It's not approved yet. It's just added. So once they approve it, this will change to approved. If they deny it because there's another troop there or something's not quite right, it'll say denied, and it will tell you why. Did this work, or do we have some other questions?
There was a few other questions in the chat box. One of them was, how do we submit sales for which a girl when our individual order was placed? So our initial order, I apologize. Initial order was placed is a bulk order and not individual girls. So going through the transactions. And then that, Marianne, they did want you to go back through the DOC and boost because we know that one's always fun and definitely needs a double look.
DOC, that's to divide to the money piece, to divide it out?
I'm going to assume so too.
Okay.
That's how I understood it.
Okay, so we have this troop, we have all these girls. This troop's initial order was maybe 3,408 packages. So we'll go to the girls order tab, and at that point, these would all be zeros when you're able to add the receipts of the girls' cookies they took. So Marie took cookies, and the way this volunteer does it, she puts the gray lines you can't do anything with. That means they were done because of the initial order. Since we don't put it under the girl, it does not show up anything but zeros. It could be a DOC in hand, a DOC shipped, or a DOC donated. You can't do anything on that line, so you add another line. So with this volunteer added a transaction. She put picked up on 2-2. So the parent picked up these cookies. She put the cookies in by packages, and then she clicked OK, and she clicked save. And that was the young lady's initial order. Let's see, I'm sure we've got some girls that have picked up additional orders. So this one is going to show you, we have DOC transactions here with cookies in hand. If they're cookies in hand that were taken through the phone app, which is the only way you can do cookies in hand, it adds the money. It does not add the cookies because the system figures that the cookies are coming out of what the girl has on hand. So if it's done at a booth site, you're going to total up all those cookies and divide them out to the girls. Okay, let's see, we have a question. We did not get the booth approved by eBudde. Oh, you already had it? If you've already held the booth, you would just do a transaction like this with the girls and add them up individually. You wouldn't add the booth after the fact. And from experience, I can tell you why. Last year, I approved everybody's booths all ready for the weekend, did it late at night, everything was good. I went to bed, I got up in the morning, and all of a sudden I had about 5 booth sales that were for the day before or 2 days before. At first I thought I was going crazy, but what happened were they put them in after the fact. that's not a good thing to do because it's already over. So at that point, I would just divide out the cookies with the girls and put it in as a transaction per girl. So for this young lady, she picked up on the 1st. She picked up a few packages on the 3rd. She paid money on the 3rd. This volunteer makes separate receipts for cookies going out, cookies coming in, and money coming in. And that's really how we train this, is to have a separate receipt for everything. The reason for that is you can have as many lines as you need. You can tie a receipt to every line you have. If a parent is questioning you, you look at the receipts. They have the yellow copy, you have the white, and you can go to eBudde with them and look and see if there's a mistake. The other reason is several years ago, I was helping a troop and their volunteer was a little confused. They added in cookies that they gave to the parents, cookies they took back, and money they owed and money they paid on one receipt. And by the time you look at all of that on there, you don't really know what the receipt's telling you. So the best suggestion I can give you is use one receipt per transaction. Questions on that? Laura, did we have some more questions I need to cover that I may have missed?
Well, I believe maybe you went over, but it said, how do we enter a negative amount for the DOC payment when it doesn't show up in boxes sold? And then you assign the boxes on the booth.
Okay, so I'll show you what I did. This is one of the girls that did it at a booth sale. So this was the date of the booth sale. As the TCM, you look at your troop DOC, you can see what girls, it gives you a date and a time, I think, on there. And you can kind of track that to it. Some volunteers keep track of whose they used and how many cookies were sold, and if they were $4 or $5 cookies. With this young lady, I'm just going to assume the $12. So the one for the $8, which would have been 2 packages, and the one for the $4, which would have been 1 package, were done at a booth sale. So this is where I'm going to put DOC booth sale. Whatever works for you is what you want. Then I will go over to the money, and since I'm going to use the booth recorder, I want to take the funds out of here because it's going to add it again. I will put a negative $12 in there and say okay, and when I divide out all the cookies that on the booth recorder, it will tabulate total money paid for all the cookies that were sold by that girl at the booth. Did this help, or are there still a little confusion?
I think that was good. Marianne, somebody had asked about what DOC is, and DOC is just an acronym that we use for digital order card. And the digital order card is our online platform that GSUSA provides for girls to take not only electronic credit cards, but also to set up their own site, setting goals, sending out emails, which will allow a digital order card DOC shipped, donation, or in hand. So Marianne's kind of working you through all the processes of that DOC. And then that's it, Marianne.
Okay. Oh, one more thing, because we have a patch for your hometown heroes for the girls. And if they sell 15 hometown hero packages, donated packages, they can receive a patch. For them to receive a patch, you need to go to this GOC org tab, and you're going to fill out what organization you want to donate it to. And you'll need the contact name, you'll need the address, city, state, zip, phone, and email if you have it. Last year, I haven't tried it this year, but last year you needed to put a package in there. So just put 1 package in, because you won't know until the end of the program how many donated packages you have, but you can fill all this information out ahead of time. You can also have, it's not blank, but if I had it all filled out, I could add another one. So say my girls picked the school bus drivers and the school lunch ladies, we could have both of those in there as their hometown heroes. Questions on this page? Okay. Does anyone have questions you'd like to see in eBuddy right now?
Marianne, there was one question about does every parent at the booth sales need the DOC or just one parent? So I don't know if you want to kind of go through the ins and outs of that and how it works.
Sometimes there's two girls there and they both have the DOC. Their moms are there with their phone, or they're older girls and they have their own phone. And a lot of troops will take where this DOC order goes to this girl, the next DOC order goes to this girl, and they go back and forth. A lot of times when you're at a booth, you might have one parent with the girl or one of the older girls with the DOC on their phone. So you just take all the credit cards to that young lady, and that's when you figure out and take away money. So you figure it out the easiest way that's going to work for your troop. Did that help?
I have a question about, so when we're doing a booth, and if I'm not going to the booth and so another mom is taking the cookies, do I assign those cookies to that specific girl then when they initially take them?
Okay, so is the mom an approved volunteer?
No.
Okay, so then you would assign those cookies to the girl.
Okay.
You would have a receipt. When the booth's over, you can set it up where they bring back the cookies that are left. They pay you the money for all those cookies, and you have two receipts then. If it's
Okay,
a
and then
volunteer, you can use troop cookies because they've got the background check.
okay, so then I wouldn't do a transaction at all for them taking the cookies out?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, you give them a receipt for the cookies they took.
Okay.
You can go into eBuddy, add that as a transaction for that young lady. And then when they bring you cookies back, you give them a receipt for the cookies they bring back, and you go in and you subtract those cookies. Who am I on here? Okay, let me go. There we go. I got to get on the right page. So say Kylie's mom takes out, this is for a booth. Mom, whatever you want. So you give her 12 of those, 12 of those, 12 of those, whatever. You're going to say, okay. You're going to say save. The booth sale's over. You've connected with the mom. She came back. So you could do booth returned. And then you can go in here. So she returned 6. She returned 2. And then you say, okay. And it's figured it all out for you. It took the money away and it took those packages away from what she had. Did this answer your question?
Yeah, and then after that, so if there were a couple of girls working that booth, I wanted to divide it up between the girls.
Yes.
Would I just take out half the cookies and add them under the other girl?
If they work the same hours, that's the fair way to do it.
Okay.
You know, because you have no control of what customer they get at that point.
Right.
But yeah, it's the way I always did it when I was a troop leader, and I know a lot of my troop leaders do that.
Okay, so then I would just like make another transaction and take out, because I would have initially checked out the cookies, less what they returned, and then do another transaction taking out half the cookies to give to the other girl.
And then add it to the other girl.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. That's what I was super confused about. Thank you.
Okay, good. Other questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
In the pamphlet we got on what to bring to the cookie booths, it says a printed copy of booth sign up.
Okay, so let's
you.
go to booths. Okay. See the purple button that says current signups? You're going to click on that. You can print this whole thing. It tells you what store, what door, A lot of troops will print this and figure out what parents or what girls are going to be at what booths throughout the whole season. It tells you for this one, they're going to do the Rimrock Avenue Walmart at the general merchandise door on 2/8 from 12 to 2. So this is going to show that that troop has permission to be there. This troop shows up and there's another troop there that says, no, we're here. So this troop can pull this out and say, this shows us, do you have yours? And in Grand Junction, in Denver, in a lot of our towns, we have more than one Walmart, correct? We have more than one door at a Walmart. So they may be at the wrong door. They may be at the wrong Walmart. But as long as you have this paper, it shows you belong there. And if they don't have it, then they can call their leader or they can look it up and say, oh, I'm at the wrong door. I'm sorry, I'll move over there. Does that help?
Yes, that was helpful. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Other questions about eBudde?
Marianne, there was a question where somebody was asking for booths, do you wait until the end or divide the cookies up after each booth? And I stated that each troop does it their own way, but we recommend using the booth recorder app after each booth. But I don't know if you can elaborate on that too.
Yeah, it is easier to use the booth recorder after that booth because you're all done. You know what you're depositing, you know what's there. I do know it's up to each troop. I have troops that don't use the booth recorder because they have their own system. And a lot of times they record some of it at the very end. When they figured out what everybody did, they see what the girls are going to earn for rewards, who's closer here, different things like that. So each troop has kind of their own little rules that they worked out with their girls and what you're doing. No way's wrong as long as it's fair to the girls. Did that help or confuse you?
No, that was good. So if I decide to do it after each booth,
Hold on, please.
at the end,
Yes.
can I go back and change it if I need to move some of those cookies around?
Since you filled it up, but to change it, you have to go to the booth sites to record my sales. And you'll go to that booth and you'll have to change it on this page. You cannot change it on the girls page, girls order page.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Other questions?
And
Go ahead.
an estimate on how many cookies we should bring to a booth.
Okay, Laura.
Hey, I didn't ask that, but you know, I will say though, on that note, this is how come we ask people to use that booth recorder part of it. So that way we can start to track on what is happening at the different booth sites and kind of what the flow of cookies that are being sold in the timeframes. And after we get a few years of that documented in there, we can maybe use that to help guide people and know more. But okay,
Right.
there's a question, Mary.
I know. You can look back and kind of compare it to booths you had last year. You could work with your service unit cookie manager who could look back at other troops that maybe were there around the same time frame. If it's only a 2-hour booth, middle of the day, you know, you may be taking 10 cases or 15 cases of mints and then 10 cases of Samoas and 5 cases of tags and 5 cases of do-si-dos. And with the lemon ups being new, if it's an early booth, I would say try the 3 to 5 cases of lemon ups. Towards the end, you're going to have a better idea that, well, you know, maybe we only need 2 cases of lemon ups, 2 cases of trefoils. S'mores aren't selling very well, so we're only going to take 2. Toffee, maybe we only take the last 6 packages we have. So it really is kind of looking at how many hours, how busy that store is, and where you're setting with your stock for your cookies. Some troops at the beginning will really load up on cookies and they take most of them. Other troops take a good portion of them. But as you dwindle down to the end of the program, you're usually taking a few less of the non-chocolates, taking what you've got in your chocolates and playing at booth by booth. I know you have to plan 72 hours ahead to order from the cupboard, but when you're getting down towards the last 2-3 weeks, you really can utilize that cookie exchange and find troops that are having trouble getting rid of some of their cookies. Maybe the whole troop got the flu and they missed a whole week's of sale. So they have all these cookies that they're really pretty sure they cannot sell all of them because of missing that whole week. Those are troops that you want to help. So I have a booth tomorrow, but I'm out of Thin Mints. So I'm going to go to that cookie exchange. Oh, this troop and this troop and this troop has them. And I would contact those troops and arrange to take some of their cookies to make it through our booth sale. You're helping yourself and you're helping the other troop. Did that answer questions?
So
That was good,
I'm
Mary.
going to go with this, and this is my first time. Can you walk through it again slowly after you're done at the booth sites and you're putting in the packages for the girls, and then you're going back to the girl order and putting in the minuses? I don't understand that.
Okay, so if you're using the booth recorder, the only thing you would subtract from a girl would be if that young lady took digital online cookies for cookies in hand on their phone. You would take money away. And you could do that before you ever divide out the cookies. If you're dividing cookies that you sold at your booth sale, you don't have to subtract the actual packages from a girl. You're just going to use this tab here that is on the booth sales. Drop down to record sales. It opens up this page for you. You can click the girls that were there. Maybe it was an all-day booth, whatever, depending what you're doing. So this booth had 4 girls. This troop has decided that they divide the total sales up between all 4 girls. So 2 girls work 2 hours in the morning, 2 girls work 2 hours in the afternoon. And then you're going to go here. You sold 24 lemon ups. Your troop sold 12 trefoils, 45 do-si-dos, 60 Samoas, 50 tagalongs, 200 Thin Mints, 24 s'mores, 10 toffees, and then you had 5 gift of caring virtual packages that your troop's not going to have, and you had 25 hometown heroes. So you've got your figures there. This matches what you took. You've counted your money. This is about the money you have. Maybe you have some donations that would pay for more packages, but it's not $4 yet. So just hold on to that money, and when it's $4 at the next booth sale, you add another hometown hero package. So your things here, your girls are clicked. You're going to click the purple distribute. It's distributed those cookies to the girls. It also, when it goes to their page, distributes the money for those cookies. So if any of this was digital online cookies in hand, the money is added and divided up between all the girls for the cookies you sold. Then you'll submit the sale. And I'm not submitting that because then I have to go back and fix it all. More questions on this page?
No.
That was specific, Marianne, about this page. You did have one in the chat box, a question.
Okay.
I apologize if I cut somebody off too. But in the chat box, it's really just asking, how will you know how much somebody took out for a booth? So like, how will I record cookies sold if a parent doesn't know the exact number of cookies sold on each type of variety? I'm assuming it's at a booth, so I don't know if she wants to unmute too.
If it's troop cookies, you sign cookies out to that girl for that booth. They're going to return cookies to you and money after that booth sale. if it's a booth sale that they're doing with the cookies you already gave them, it's not set up where they came to you for more cookies just for the booth sale, but it's out of what you already assigned the young lady, you don't have to fill this out. It's already on the girls tab. And actually, if a young lady is doing a booth set, actually both ways. Let's just go back and do that. Let me think about this better. Sorry. So you have Mackenzie's going to do a booth. She's doing a booth with the cookies you already gave her. She didn't come to you for any more cookies or anything else. You don't have to do anything. If that booth is showing up on the booth recorder, you just leave it empty. You don't fill anything out on it. It stays green. Once you use it to document booths where your troop did it, it will turn gray. So you just leave it alone. You don't add anything to Mackenzie because it's coming out of what she has. But Mackenzie doesn't have enough cookies for this booth. So then you're going to add a transaction and you're going to put booth and the date and how many packages the parents checked out. So you're going to add that. They checked out these packages to do their booth. They've done their booth. They've set up a time to meet with you and bring back any cookies they have left. So when they do that, you're going to do a receipt. You're going to take the money from them from the booth sale. They still keep change from their other cookies because they're still selling their cookies door to door, friends and family, whatever. Maybe they're doing another booth. So if this is checked out specifically for a booth sale, they're going to give you that money from the booth sale of the cookies that they sold. You're going to know the money. Does it match the amount of cookies? It does. You're going to add another transaction, booth return. And so say they didn't do very well and they still had the 25 lemons.